Yeah. Oh wait, I need to start it on YouTube. Connect streaming software to go live. It should already be connected. Okay, what's your channel? I don't even know how to do that.
Okay.
Oh wait, maybe I do. What's your channel name? I mean, is it gonna... Oh wait, it already is live?
Yeah, it's up.
Oh, okay, it is live. Alright,
Yeah, 2 people.
cool. It's just showing the black thing, right?
There's, yeah.
Should be. Okay, cool. We got
You can hear it,
15.
though.
Huh?
You can hear it though.
I know. That's alright. How's the music sound? Okay, sweet. Reload. Yo, what's up, Tommy Tunes? Alright. Give it like 5 minutes. Or less. I don't know, 3 minutes. We're just gonna wait for a couple people to get in here. I think I should be standing, maybe. I wonder if I can make the projector... No. I can't make the projector a second monitor, can I?
Can't make it what?
A second monitor.
Ooh, you wish you know that.
Because basically, I don't want to show the Streamlabs and shit on the projector screen. But I don't mind having it on my laptop screen. But I want to use the projector screen. Alright. We also got a Discord going, guys. If anybody in the chat wants to join Discord, we do have a Discord server. And theoretically, you can hop in and say things too. In theory, it's possible. Can you hand me that? I need to plug in my computer. Thanks. Fuck. Actually, we're gonna have to replug this.
Shit. Yeah, I got you.
Here. This.
You put it right here.
Okay, yeah. The green one? Alright. I'm gonna be positioned on this chair. Sort of moving around the boots. Right. Okay, guys, how we doing in chat? Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? Okay, all right, we got 20 viewers. It's a good time to start. What is this, Messy Tales? This is a director's live commentary and hangout stream of the extended cut available on Zarda for 50 cents of Texas Street Ministry, the Homeless Church on Wheels, the latest homeless documentary by me. And I know you guys love these homeless documentaries, so we're going to switch scenes now to the more official. Oh, yep, there it is. Super official, as you can see. I couldn't quite figure out how to get 2 monitors set up while projecting it, but you're gonna have to excuse me on that. Oh wait, I shouldn't have done that because now I gotta. Okay, let's pause the Weezer, Pinkerton, and the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask sound fonts video for a second, and return to I would love to read the chat room while doing this, but I don't know how possible that is. Is everything still going well with the stream, guys? We're all loving it. Is everything good? We're all loving it, right? All right. Is it still live? Are we live? Is this thing on? Hello? Hey, is this thing on? What does the framing look like? Does it look whack? No, it's not that whack.
Looks like shit.
All right, guys.
Looks like that.
Love it. Fantastic. Feels okay, man. What's cooking? Dinkle Bjorn, what's up, man? Sorry, I haven't gotten around to responding to you again, but we need to just keep me updated on what the chat's saying. Actually, let me use your phone as the chat phone. Okay, true. No, you don't have to stay that long. Okay, let's get through the video. All right, guys, so what this is, I could just use my phone as it too. All right, guys. So what are we doing here today? Let's just start off there. Well, I figure this is as good of a time as any to start with the introduction of what this stream is about. As you guys know that my channel has gone through several different phases throughout the years. That's because my life has gone through many phases throughout the years, and I've always made videos that are true to what I'm interested in, what I think other people would find interested in, and just whatever I'm feeling. And so I guess if you want to look at my video catalog changing throughout the years, you can view it as a sort of footprint, a blueprint of how the direction that my life has gone in. So that's why I don't have the most consistent following, in the sense that, like, I don't put out one type of video, as you guys know, or maybe as you don't know, maybe you just subbed to me from one of my gaming videos or my Smelly Smash players or the documentary on homelessness in LA. Those are all things I've done in the last 2 or 3 years. And I guess I've realized that if I want to really make this a serious career and I want to scale it up, I have to have some more consistency. And part of that comes with doing things like this, having a sense of community with viewers, and having exclusive content that you guys can unlock by supporting me, or just that you can watch for a small fee of supporting me or whatever. This is not that. This is just a live stream, but I would like to make content that not only new viewers like to see, but also subscribers, people that have been watching me for years, videos that they want to see as well. And I don't care too much about appealing to YouTube or the algorithm, but I definitely want to expand viewers, and while keeping past viewers and past subscribers interested as much as possible. So I know this video didn't do that well yet, and maybe it will at some point, but you know, it did take a lot of effort, and it was a captivating story that interested me while I was filming it. And I think a lot of people that enjoy this kind of topic matter, they enjoyed the video as well. And some of them have been longtime subscribers, and some of them have not, and some of them have just been other creators that I respect. So hearing all the positive comments and praise for the video has been awesome, and for the series of videos, because before this was another one that also not many people saw. And it's strange how the algorithm works, because it's like, you know, my most popular video by far is the Dark Side of Los Angeles, and that continuously gets views, but yet that viewer demographic is apparently completely separate, very different from most of my subscribers, because while that's getting views, and the Real Hobbits of Texas, the first one in this series on homelessness in Austin, those are both getting views and being successful. These subsequent videos are not. So I think it's a mixture of, hey, Ulysses, you can do whatever. I'm just also watching this. I'm doing the stream thing. I'm doing a live stream. You can do whatever you want, but I'm doing a live stream to my viewers. Yeah, that's my roommate. He's a guitar player. Maybe you guys can see him or whatever, but we're kind of using a publicly used space here to do this little projector thing. Anyways, that's probably enough intro. Probably none of you care. Can I see your phone? Or let me look at my phone. Wait, let me look at my chat.
35.
Okay, great. Let's see what they're saying.
16. You're good at YouTube, boy. Cooler.
Nice. Yeah, so anyways, whatever. I'm just ranting at this point, but the point is my channel goes in all these different directions, and it's not even exactly clear what the algorithm wants. It's not exactly clear what you guys want. I'm assuming most of you are subbed to me for gaming and sort of cultural commentary that I used to do. And I am working on some videos that I think will be more interesting to viewers like you, if that is the case. So with that out of the way, let's start by watching the video, and I'll provide some extended commentary on what it was like to make this video. This is on Zarda, available for 50 cents. It's about 15 minutes of bonus footage.
Yeah, you can barely see the screen. So big you are.
True.
And the chat. If you can have the Twitch chat.
Hide the, well, I don't care that much about the, no, I don't care that much about the chat being there, but why is it buffering? All right, guys, so they cut off our internet for taking too much bandwidth. But hold on. Okay. Zarda's platform might be experiencing some technical difficulties right now. Oops. Okay, that's probably better. And let's just reload this page. All right. Okay, guys. And so begins the director's extended commentary viewer experience extravaganza. Let's go.
So,
Long time no see.
I mean, I don't know how to behave around people. I really don't, man.
But we were targeted by criminals.
We've got to change some legislation so that when people get out of prison, man, they're not discriminated against in the job market. They've done their time. Let it go. Forgive.
All right, so a little bit of context to how I even got involved in all of the homeless people living around Austin and why I decided to cover this. So for those of you that have been following, one of my biggest successes on this channel was the dark side of Los Angeles. I would go to and from Los Angeles a lot because I had family there. I grew up in Vegas. I lived in Vegas. And so I was kind of able to see it from an outsider's perspective, you could say. And I just, I saw all the homelessness that everyone sees. And I have a camera and I make YouTube videos. So I just decided to, can you mute that or something? Sorry. I just decided to capture that as well as I could. And I put together a little video and it did really well. So I made some more and those started doing well as well. But I, at some point last year, moved to Austin, and I moved a year ago to Austin. I visited here a few times, and I just liked the atmosphere. I liked that people seemed to be more friendly and open. I liked the nature. I liked how it was integrated very well into the downtown, into the city. I like this balance of nature and city. And I felt like people here believed in something a little bit more than they did in places that I was used to out west. So I saw that there was a creative scene growing here and I wanted to be part of it. And so when I moved here, I wasn't initially planning to film or cover homelessness at all. But I think what happened was a few things. I tried a few experimental things like hosting an event and different kinds of videos that didn't quite go maybe the way that kept me interested in them. They weren't quite stunning successes. I definitely learned something from different things here, but I also realized that maybe I need to humble myself a little bit and realize that I'm not the only one that can tell the story. And in fact, my greatest ability comes in sharing the story that others have to offer as well. So, and my daily drive around where I live near downtown, I noticed there was homeless people everywhere here. Maybe not quite as plentiful as Los Angeles, but certainly still in your face. And I realized that this is not just a citywide problem, this is a nationwide problem. And I really saw that firsthand. If it's out here in the heart of the country and it's in the West Coast, it's everywhere. And it pretty much is across the US. So I wanted to I felt like this is the one thing that people, when they drive by every day, they know about it, they know about the homeless problem, but they don't, they either ignore it or they just think that they've already come to some conclusion about what should be done, or they don't know what should be done. It's like a very strange area of society where it feels like we're constantly being told to ignore this problem, even though it gets worse and worse. And I feel like we're being told that not explicitly, but indirectly from all the media, the consumerism, the culture that just focuses on getting cars and money and getting, pleasure and just getting ahead no matter what and forgetting about everyone below you. And I feel like homeless people represent what happens in a society where they represent the people left behind from society. And I felt like if anyone can capture it, I might as well be someone who does. So that's kind of what led me towards this, which ended up, I met this guy named Preacher out of a homeless camp I'd covered in a couple previous videos, where there was these guys in a tent in the woods right near downtown jamming, playing guitar and drums and different instruments. And one of the guys that supplied them with things, his name was Preacher. And that was the basis of really this whole video. But there's one other central figure that you'll see in a minute here that also kind of introduced me to this, but I'm going to play it.
And I see Austin going the same direction and actually using the same plan as what they did in California.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Director's Cut Extended. Well, this part just feels very strange and meta because this was filmed and recorded for people that are unlocking the video and not, well, I guess anyways, whatever. Cut of the Texas Street Ministry video. I've never done something quite like this, so I'm trying a new format that's a little looser, not so scripted, and heavily planned out as my normal narration. That being said, I am including the original video in this, but intermittently, during parts where I had extended footage that didn't make the original cut, I will be adding some commentary like this. Also, in a few days from the time... truthfully, this added director's cut commentary in this version of the video wasn't very well edited or set up. But that's one of the rooms in the house here, but it's kind of awkward that I had it framed below my knees. You can see this little wound I have on my leg. That was a biking incident where I fell on the ground. Luckily I'm okay, but it does hurt still. This is posted, I will be hosting a watch party on Zarda where you've unlocked this. And in the watch party, I'll be providing additional live commentary with viewers like you. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Hope you enjoy this Director's Cut. I've driven on these freeways hundreds of times since moving to Austin. But ever since I immersed myself in a community of homeless living in the woods, my eyes have been opened. This is drone footage. New to my channel. Thank you to Mustafa, my editor and associate and friend, we used his drone for this, and we got a really cool shot. This is under one of the busiest freeways, and then hands up. Holding all around me. This time, I stopped along the freeway. I wanted to see what life was like for those trapped in the city. A road named Ben White Boulevard is a hub for the city's metro bus system. It's also an epicenter for Austin's growing homeless population. So this is one of those roads I pass by all the time, that I've seen these homeless encampments, that I've seen it grow over time, and I was just curious to see what was the story. What's the story behind it? Since filming this video, all of these camps have been cleared. Not a single one remains. And I started to get a little feel for what's happening. It's like the city finds housing for these people or forces them further out. And then as the homeless population grows, more people congregate here, and then they get cleared out again. That's kind of what's going on. And so the reason Austin's able to do that and LA isn't is because there's less people here to deal with. There's like 3,000 homeless people here. LA has like 50,000. So that's, I think, what's going on. Although I'm not entirely sure on that, but seems to be the case.
The freeway underpass. One day, while I was filming on Ben White, a woman approached me on the sidewalk with a message she was eager to deliver.
You need to teach somebody just.
So this woman, Nancy, I was filming with a friend, and out of nowhere, she just sees me talk. She sees me talking to some homeless guy or something, and she starts walking by. She seems curious. She wants to, she seems like she wants to say something. And, we just start having a conversation. I kind of just start filming from there.
The most basic of life skills to get them to the point where they can live within 4 walls of a roof. I own a secondhand camping and outdoor store, and I've been broken into multiple times. I'll be happy to give you socks or a pair of shoes. Just don't take it. Yeah. It's a lot harder to live a traditional life like we do than that.
On the other side of Ben White,
real quick on Nancy, she also worked within volunteer programs to help the homeless. So she's a business owner, she's a homeowner, and she's worked with volunteer programs. So she's like a really good source on the problems, why there are problems, and what potential solutions there are. I didn't fully give that context in the video. I didn't think it was too relevant, but just so you know.
the homeless people camped out under the freeway seemed just as desperate for solutions.
So on one day that was pretty cold. Like this was probably what, January or like early January. Yeah, it was cold. There was a big freeze during Christmas. This was after that. So, and this is one of those people that we saw. There was this guy, actually, again, while I was just filming the tents under the underpass, this guy walks up. You'll see the clip later on again, but this man walks up completely nonchalantly, like a scene straight out of a movie, smoking a cigarette from across the street. There's cars passing by. I'm still holding the camera. I'm like this, holding the camera, and he's like looking at me across the street, smoking a cigarette. He walks directly up to me while I'm holding the camera. I should have gotten, I can't believe I didn't include a scene of that, him walking directly to me. I forgot to do that, but you'll see a clip of him standing across the street. But anyways, so yeah, so I started talking with this guy. His name was Don, and he had basically invited us to this tent where I guess his wife or his family members lived, and and that's where we are now.
What's your name, miss?
So she had a dog.
Virginia. How long you guys been out here?
Oh yeah.
You got prodigal son asking if you're a Christian.
Yes, I'm an Orthodox. If you want to.
Snoop 321 says y'all a long time viewer. The content is only evolved. Comment link W. And then prodigal son said, "Link is base. Stay safe, brother. Prayers up."
Hey, thanks, prodigal son. All right, let's continue.
56 years old. I've lived on these streets since I was 11 years old. Nobody in this world owes you a frickin' thing.
Have they ever given housing before to you guys?
Yeah, we had our housing voucher. We went through the whole thing. But then I died.
What happened?
I died?
You died?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I was legally dead. Diabetes. As in no longer existing on this planet. See, look.
Diabetes ain't no joke. There was even a lot more footage of her talking to us. We cut that. It was like she was just telling us that she grew up in Arizona, that she likes living off the food of the land, and all that. But I guess that she was talking about how that's not really a sustainable lifestyle anymore. Like it's too expensive to live anywhere, and it's too expensive to live anywhere if you're not farming for your own fruits and vegetables.
That piggy went to the market but didn't come home. I told these people a long time ago.
your family?
So interestingly, Virginia, so she's a homeless woman in this tent right across from where I was talking to Nancy. And she's telling me something similar to Nancy, who's worked with these homeless people. She's saying, I don't want to hand out, I want to leg up. And, you know, I didn't really expect to hear that from someone who's homeless. But in a way, it's like a sign that it's a sign that there is a middle ground between completely subsidizing and funding programs or housing that completely alleviates any responsibility from the homeless to help themselves and get back on their feet. But it's not to the extreme form that I think a lot of, I guess, like right-leaning or whatever people tend to espouse of like, well, just pick yourselves up from your bootstraps. You know, it's like, it's more of a middle ground where it's like, give them the opportunity, the tools to get up on their own feet, but, you know, make sure it's their own feet. That's a key part. And so this is Don telling me about how he's family out here. One thing I want to ask you guys in the chat is, what do you think about subtitles? Does it add anything? Does it take away anything? Does it even matter? Because some scenes I add subtitles and they take a while to make sure that they're good. I know YouTube has a system for that, but I like having it on the actual video. But anyways, looking forward to seeing what you guys say about that. Let's continue this.
We're all afraid, man. Is there anything that you don't like about the program, the housing program?
The fence around it and the guards. We don't like to be caged up. I mean, they pay taxes. Where does our taxes go? Not to help people like us. They really need it.
Around 15 years ago, Nancy bought a house here for her mother to live in. That was back before the tech industry moved in, when Austin was a much smaller and more affordable town, when neighborhoods were not yet overrun by homelessness as they are now. Nancy invited me to her home, where a recent break-in left her family...
Yeah, that's something I talk about in the previous videos as well, how Austin, like many other cities that have experienced this tech boom in the last 10 years, the cost of housing has skyrocketed, and that's certainly a contributing factor to why some people end up on the streets. It's not the only reason, but it's an economic constant that only makes it more and more difficult to survive and to live, you know, from a normal job or whatever that is anymore. So there's a huge economic displacement that's affecting every city, and especially cities where a lot of new money and new industry, which is mostly tech, is moving in. That's why you see apartment complexes springing up everywhere in any of these cities. That's why you see people moving in, and that's why you see a lot of people being the locals, the people that for generations or for just you know, decades have lived there. That's why you see them being uprooted.
Fearful and outraged, especially her sister, Edie.
I'm enraged and disgusted by what I see. Young people that are capable of working but are already enmeshed in a culture of begging, doping, tweaking, putting their hand out. I don't see any work, and I'm angry that neighborhood children can't even attend a school. We have free food for bums. Sorry, I hope I'm not offending anyone with my statement.
Camera's not in focus. I wasn't holding the camera for the record, and it was also kind of dark in their house, but did the best I could with color correction, as you can see.
But I'm disgusted.
So these two people we met under the bridge.
All right, now let's go back to the in-video extended cut commentary.
The woman's name, her name is Virginia, and the man, his name is Don. And I just kind of met Don.
Get a real nice shot of my crotch here, sitting in this fucking lawn chair.
By filming across the street. I saw him walk up nonchalantly to me and my camera. He started asking me actually what I was doing, and I went up close to interview Virginia in the tent. They shared a little bit more about how they had a life before this.
Yeah, the stream is over now. No, I'm just kidding. It's going right now. It's going to go for a while.
And Don,
but you can do whatever.
You know, was just saying that a lot of
play guitar,
and that's why they ended up on the streets.
Sing the blues.
That homelessness can happen to anyone. You know, a lot of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. They're just one tragedy away from ending up out there. I even brought up to Don the fact that I met this woman named Nancy, that her house had been broken into just down the street, and he told me that, you know, they would be willing to help if somebody could direct them, that they have a willingness to help. So that also alerted me to the fact that a lot of people don't want to be causing problems. They just, you know, they're disconnected from each other.
I met someone here. Her name was Nancy. She has a house a couple blocks down. Her house is broken into, and she thinks it's because this homeless problem has gotten bigger. Nothing's happening. What do you say to someone?
This is a part that could have used subtitles, but this was the extended cut only.
My house getting broken into.
I basically brought up Nancy's situation to Dawn because you wouldn't be able to tell from the video, but this actually happened before I met Nancy. No, after. Never mind.
We can fix
Forgot I
up
just
her
said
house.
that.
We
It does
have
make
all
sense.
kinds of skills here that are put to waste. We had a life before tragedy hit us. If every citizen in Austin or in U.S.
It's kind of hard to hear him. There's a lot of freeway noise and wind and stuff. He's basically just saying that they had
Greg, good to know you.
jobs and a life before ending up on the streets. And I think Virginia said that she used to be a healthcare worker. So it's kind of a reminder that homelessness can happen to anyone, especially, in America, and especially when you don't have a support system. And luckily, it sounds like they have each other out there, but sometimes that's not enough. So that's where I feel like some assistance is good, because I feel like people, they didn't seem like they were strung out drug addicts. They didn't seem like they were just lazy people who could work and weren't doing that. They seemed like they legitimately fell on hard times, and maybe they just didn't work a very lucrative job or career or whatever. And they ended up out there. And, for those people, certainly, I think they need a way to get a leg up, a way to support themselves. I don't think they should be suffering on the streets,
Kimberly, nice to meet you. What are you documenting, Kimberly?
So we're making a video. I have the series about homelessness in Austin right now. And we're getting Nancy's perspective because, you guys have had some break-ins.
I share her perspective. And no, I'm enraged and disgusted by what I see. Young people that are capable of working.
So Nancy's sister, okay, I definitely put this in twice on accident, but there's also more. I mean, not in the video, in the extended cut on Zarda, 50 cents to unlock. She was noticeably more frustrated and angry and bitter than Nancy. And look, I don't blame her because her house was broken into. She wasn't there at the time, granted, but doesn't matter. I mean, that's still a devastating thing. So, and she's not wrong. I mean, her tone is kind of judgmental or harsh, you could say, and I think it is, but I could see where she's coming from. And I think it's good to hear the perspective of someone who's been negatively impacted by this crisis of homelessness,
but are already enmeshed in a culture of begging.
Yeah, sorry about that. This part.
Doping, tweaking, that same life. Yeah, I'm disgusted by it, and I see us negatively impacted, and I'm angry that neighborhood children can't even attend a school next door to that resource center, a church, and we've prioritized transients over elementary school children. And we've talked to people in this neighborhood that don't even feel safe about sending their children next door to that school at Jocelyn Elementary.
Always a good idea to make sure whoever's filming that they know how to focus the camera. Oh, that's a good idea.
And as a mother, I would never send my children to that school. I would be enraged.
It's over here by the...
Right next to the Sunrise Center is the Jocelyn Elementary School, and it has been slated for
The
closure
whole background.
time and time again.
The nightstand, the lamp. You can see it all. You can't see her.
Declining. And when you shut down an elementary school, that's the final nail in the coffin of a neighborhood. You can't even be a vibrant community without an elementary school. What do you have? Well, we got a homeless shelter, we have free food for bums. Sorry, I hope I'm not offending anyone with my statements, but I'm disgusted.
At Nancy's house, there was a lot more footage of Edie, her sister, some of which I probably should have included in the original, even more than I already did. She was telling me about Jocelyn Elementary, which is a school nearby that has declining enrollment year after year, and we got footage of that school. I was even trying to possibly get an interview with someone at the school, and maybe I will at some point, but it just didn't, we didn't follow up with that, to be honest. But yeah, she made a lot of good points, and she was coming from a place of frustration and justifiable frustration. She just kind of thought the solution would be to push the homeless out of the city into places where they could have barracks or living quarters that wouldn't disturb neighborhoods like hers, which, again, like from her perspective, seems reasonable. But I don't think that's a long-term solution, because that ends up, I think leading to a new class of housed people that are subsidized by taxpayers that may or may not ever get the resources or help to actually support themselves and to contribute to society. So I'm cautious about that approach to just, creating endless housing programs for the homeless.
I don't think, they're all criminals.
I don't say that. I don't believe that they are. But we were targeted by criminals that had a little badge that said house the homeless. And so I think there are plenty of tweakers over there. And tweakers are a problem. Drug addicts are a huge problem. Those are the ones. The sick and the infirm and the elderly and the mentally ill are less of a problem. But there's a new generation of younger people tweaking their little brains out over there and ripping off everybody in this neighborhood. You see them pushing their carts of stolen merchandise, anything that they could steal, they put in a wagon, they push it around and maybe barter for more dope. Those aren't residential areas, those are commercial districts. Put more people, enhance that area, but I don't like them in a residential area. I don't like it, and it doesn't help anybody. How's it helping these people? Well, they got better food, that's it, but they're not on the way to unhomelessness. We've made it very comfortable. A very comfortable life. There, boy, I had a lot to say about that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, go talk to Clifford. Clifford's our 19-year Oakland Police Department veteran. Dealt with a lot of tweakers, dealt with a lot of homeless. So I'm sure he'd love to give you his perspective. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. He didn't want to give us his perspective. I mean, he kind of did, but there wasn't much to say.
Searching deeper, I found answers in the most unexpected of places.
Looks like everything fucking fell over.
I heard it, and I ducked down.
So this is during the second big freeze where all the trees and plants had this like icy branches and stuff everywhere. It was really beautiful, actually, but it was freezing. And so, as I explained here, that they're getting propane from this guy named Preacher, who I'd heard about, but I didn't know really what he was, what he was doing. So this is me meeting him for the first time.
And I heard whispers of a man named Preacher who provides them with it.
Preacher, he helps out every day? Or?
Yeah.
As much as he can.
Yeah, he helps everybody that he can when he can. He wants to keep it mainly just people that are out here on the street doing the work to help our brothers and sisters that are out here. We're family.
Hey, man.
Tell him about the food truck.
I'll tell him about it.
Gotta do this.
I live in... You're welcome.
Bye, Daddy.
My name is Danny Henderson.
As I'm watching this back, I feel like, I know this is the extended version, we probably should have just cut to the truck run way sooner. That might have been the most entertaining part, and it's kind of saved for the second half of the video. I don't know. Maybe we should have, there's too much pretext of like, this is how I met this guy, this is how this happened. Like, nobody really cares. They care if it's one hour-long documentary, but this is not that. It's just a 20-minute video. I don't think I needed to give this much context, maybe.
But like you've done the hour video in LA.
Mm-hmm.
That worked an hour.
Yeah.
Why would this? I mean,
There was nothing that gripping at the start. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I feel like the Virginia clips.
She's catching.
It's hard to tell because it's like we were editing it so much that it's like.
Washed out forever.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's like I've seen this all 100 times, but I don't know, whatever.
I'm known as Preacher on the street. Been on the
It took a
street
little too
since
long, maybe.
1983 and lead a ministry called Team 888. What we're about is about the homeless.
Meanwhile, his
being
dog
part
is
of their own
shivering.
solution and serving others.
Also out of
who are
focus,
also
but that's
homeless.
okay. We weren't trying to
13
focus on the
trucks
shivering
that
dog.
Go out with volunteer crew every day, and out of the 390, we're the only one with
the
an
all homeless crew.
Working with an organization called Mobile Loaves.
So this is kind of a funny inside joke. Some of these people, this is going to sound mean, but because we're in the trenches editing this, okay, we're going over the clips, we're saying what's good, what's not, we're calling these people, talking to them too. Sometimes we make fun of them a little bit, like Preacher. Everyone's got their little mannerisms, and Preacher he likes to. First of all, most homeless people like to talk a lot, but Preacher, man, that's all I'm gonna say. He loves it's. It takes a while. It's like one phone call with him, guaranteed 30 minutes. Guaranteed.
In Fishes, Team 888 hands out food to homeless camps scattered through the city and surrounding woods as part of an initiative Preacher calls Street Ministry.
When's the next time you guys are going out?
Let's see.
I'd love to check that out or help out or whatever.
But he's cool.
Edie was the first time I heard about Sunrise Church, and as you'll see in the upcoming segment, I heard about this man named Preacher, and you'll see in a bit. But before going to Sunrise, actually, me and Preacher met over coffee and talked a little bit about what he's doing with Team 888, and he told me that he moved from California in the 80s, that he was living there all his life, and he moved in the 80s when he noticed that things were getting bad, that I guess the situation he was in was not good. He moved out here to Austin, and he said that he sees the same thing happening here that he sees in California.
Is the only 24-hour, 7-day-a-week option in the whole city of Austin when it comes to the homeless. If they call my...
So if it wasn't clear, Preacher lives in his car. The car is donated by this church, by volunteers that went through this church, and the church runs a program that has all these different teams with food trucks that are loaded up again with donation with supplies given by the church. And so Preacher conducts his whole ministry program, as he calls it, from inside of his car. And he has all these people he calls, he talks to, he lives in his car. And then once a month, I believe it's once a month, he does the truck run with Team 888, which is an all homeless crew. So that's what's going on. But this is just me meeting with him at Sunrise, which is the church that Nancy's sister was speaking out against because she felt like they were enabling the crisis, giving out food and things to the homeless and sort of encouraging them to, I guess, not, change their ways and not help themselves while there's declining enrollment at that elementary school you saw footage of a little bit ago. But this is us outside of Sunrise, and I'm about to ask him about why he moved out of California.
Phone rings, it gets answered. I put it on Do Not Disturb if I'm in a meeting or if I'm at church, but the rest of the time, the telephone's on. I mean, I'll be watching the Super Bowl Sunday, but I'll be watching it on my phone. This hat was more important to me than the Super Bowl, and I am a big football fan.
What's your favorite team?
The Rams. Being from California, I was a Rams fan.
This is deep lore of Preacher.
St. Louis,
deep lore.
Continued being a Rams fan.
The history of his Rams
they were in St. Louis,
admiration.
And then when they came back to California,
I don't know anything about football. I don't watch football.
I'm still
I think it's boring. I think all sports are boring.
Would you rather live here or in California right now?
To watch, to play, they're fun.
In 97, by 97, California was no longer the place I grew up. I got out. I have no intentions on ever living in California again or ever visiting for more than 2 weeks. It disgusts.
Honestly, I agree.
And I see Austin going the same direction and actually using the same plan as what they did in California for the most part. When I came here, Austin, I think the Austin area had a population of, I think it was 425.
You see what I mean? Like, he likes to talk. That's okay, though. It just means I have to edit it a lot.
I thought it was 2 million.
Oh.
Just down the street from Nancy's house, there's a church taking matters into their own hands. Some view their charity as an.
I just thought that truck looked funny.
But I wanted to see the homeless perspective, so I took a trip to Sunrise.
This is actually. Hey Mako, thanks for stopping by. And actually, it's a she.
Oh, she, sorry.
But she's in transition, so no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, good night. Thanks for stopping by. This song used in this scene is actually a really obscure reference. It's actually a Mario 64 sound font cover of Radiohead's famous 2007 album, In Rainbows. And the song I chose to use a cover of was... What is the song? It's called... Oh, man, I don't even remember. What is that? Fost Arp? Fost Arp. Anyways, whatever. I thought it fit well for this scene.
Sunrise Church.
Oh, what is that?
So this is sunrise.
Oh, this is sunrise.
See?
My camera drew some suspicion from the crowd.
Okay, so while there, we were told to not film, even though, to be honest, I think it's kind of bullshit because this is a sidewalk. So in theory, I should be able to film whatever I want from the sidewalk, which is kind of what we did. But I didn't get that many shots of the crowd gathered there. You'll see another one in a second. But there was a huge amount of people, and this was on like a Friday morning? What day of the week was it? Tuesday afternoon. There's like hundreds of people there, and I think they do this every day or pretty often, every weekday maybe. So and you see people, so many different walks of life there. You see people like, more like this guy looks like a more local Austinite. This guy looks like a gangsta from New York. All different characters there.
More questioning my intentions.
You don't think it's right? Should they just hold it in?
I should have put subtitles on this part, but these women were basically saying that they don't think they didn't want to be on camera, and I think they said something like, they asked me like why I'm filming or something, and I was saying something like, well, people have a lot to say and they need to have an outlet for expressing it. And she was like, maybe it's not always healthy for them to, pour it out on the wrong person or in the wrong way. And I was like, okay, that's a good point. But that's this interaction here.
Some made it clear they didn't want to be on camera.
This guy actually did share his story with me, but it wasn't that interesting, so I just didn't use it. But he was from California, moved there, and he basically just, I forgot, like he lost his job. I guess it was interesting. I just thought there was better ones.
Were eager to share their stories to whoever was listening.
This church area, how do you like the community?
This guy was great.
Man, I love what they're doing here. I like what they're doing. They doing God's work, and they need more people to do it. You feel me? I love it.
Are you homeless yourself, or?
I'm homeless. Yeah, I ain't got nowhere to stay here. I mean, I have my tent. My tent is sitting right over here. All that, those belongings over there.
So everything you own is in those.
It's in that stuff right over here. But what I see out here, and it's, you got a lot of people moving from California, big companies and all that, New York and all that. You feel me? They can put their money into this here. You know what I'm talking about? Man, God is everything. Jesus Christ is everything.
So on that point, I mean, he's kind of talking about the same thing I'm talking about when I'm referencing the tech boom and the economic displacement. And he's basically saying, well, if they're bringing all this money and all these people that move here have all this money because these tech jobs are paying well because these companies are very wealthy, and they're building buildings and streets and all this stuff. He's like saying, well, why don't we get some of that money? I don't think it's quite that simple because it's not all about the money. But in fact, I don't think money solves the issue in it of itself. But it is this sort of ironic or this, disconnect between the what's happening economically.
Is my breath. So yeah, he the reason I'm leaving. He the reason you standing here with a microphone in your hand. If it is a real microphone, if people can do more giving, you know what I'm saying? More blessings. As praises go up, blessings come down. It's better to give than to receive. So thank the Lord and give. But it's not a shortage on love here. I see a lot of opportunity here.
Meeting the homeless at the church opened my eyes.
See, that guy flipped us off. I don't know why. I probably, if I was a better video maker, we should have caught up to him and been like, sir, why'd you flip us off? That would have been good content. Imagine running with the camera. Sir, why did you flip us off? Say, fuck you. I don't want to talk to you, bitch. I don't fucking, he would have gone off and that would have been awesome. So you would have beat the fuck out of him? No. He would have beat the fuck out of us. No, I'm not going to fight him, but this was sort of like a staged hug. I mean, at first they hugged off camera, then I told him to hug again, and then he overdid it, but whatever. Little cop car
what struck me the most
skirting
was
by.
meeting the kids fresh out of high school that were
This kid
kicked
was
out of
having
their
fun.
homes and left on the streets.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
What's your name?
John Henry III.
John Henry III. That's
What
a
are
nice
your
name.
thoughts on today?
Man, I've never seen this before. So seeing all these people out here is like, a lot of people need help. How experienced are you with this whole church?
They fight every morning.
I never really got this guy's story, John Henry III. He's in the thumbnail, and he seemed like he has a great story. But, not everyone's open to sharing all that, and I can understand why. I'm not always open to sharing, things from my past to people, so especially when there's a camera on, I can totally understand. And I try to be respectful of that, but sometimes people want to share something and they're not comfortable enough, or they have to be comfortable enough to share it. And so my job is sort of to get to that point where it's something, if they're comfortable with me, they can share, but I don't want to pry, where I don't want to push the boundaries of something that they never share or they rarely share, unless I feel like the camera or me is a good outlet for that. But this guy basically just introduced me to his friend, but you could see someone's past in their eyes sometimes, in their expression and how they look and how they present themselves. And this guy looks like he's, ages beyond his actual age. I mean, he looks like he doesn't look old, but I'm just saying, like, he looks like he's seen some shit. He's been through a lot. He looks a little bit like tattered, I guess.
They're all on drugs
and that's not a bad thing. I'm just
they
saying.
all like to fight each other every day, so it's very interesting.
And he has sort of a cynical view of the church. He said they're all on drugs. They like to fight every day, which, I'm sure is true. I even saw a little bit of like arguing. I wish I got that on camera, but definitely, like, anytime you get this many people who are this, I don't want to say desperate, they're this much in need for different things, and they all have different issues. Some of them are drug addicts, some of them are mentally ill, some of them are just tragedy stricken, whatever it is. And you mix them all in one place, there is definitely a potential for chaos there, and I think that, I'm sure that happens.
It's an eye-opener.
How'd you end up?
It is an eye-opener.
Well, I decided where's a nice place to get a bus pass, and then I was like, I think I should come here. And then there's so many people here. It was like,
See, he didn't really answer my question. I'm like, how did you end up out here? I was looking for a nice place to get a bus pass. Yeah, but why were you looking for the bus pass? But it's one of those things where, like, he wasn't that comfortable. And that's okay.
I'm Greg.
Nice to meet you. I'm Josh.
So what brings you out here?
I'm just hanging out with my friend, trying to have a good day. Definitely trying to get out of the homeless shelter.
Josh, on the other hand, shared his whole story.
How long you been in the shelter?
For 4 months.
Were you with your parents before that, or what happened?
Well, once when I graduated from high school, I tried taking the Air Force route. Boot camp was like 7 weeks long, and I lasted around 6.5 weeks until I broke my ankle. And so I had to get discharged. That's when I got homeless, because my parents couldn't take me in anymore. They said after I graduated high school, I'm out the house. So I knew this day was going to be coming. I was just not expecting it to come this soon.
Josh had a career plan lined up with the Army, but when he fell down and injured his ankle, there was no one around to help him up again. His story is a reminder of how homelessness can happen to anyone.
From here, like, what's your next move, I guess?
I am going to be joining this thing called Job Corps. It's where they give people my age and up a house to sleep and 3 meals a day for free, and they pay you to take their
So
courses.
as a separate question, this is the only segment of the video that features this microphone. I just bought one recently, as you can see in some of my newer stuff. I'm using it, and I was wondering, for anyone that's kind of keeping up with my content, how you feel about this style of audio, of interviews, of just videos in general, where it's me with the microphone. That's pretty good quality, as you can tell, and I'm just kind of talking to people like this or filming whatever like that. I was just wondering if you guys like that more than previously. It's like shotgun mic, you hear way too much background noise, it sucks. This is a lot cleaner.
Like construction or
And the mic, it gives you some power, to have that in your hand.
They pay you weekly.
Hearing that Josh had a plan to move forward gave me some hope, and while he can't change his past, I think his optimism will carry him far.
Yeah, there was some more interviews at Sunrise Church as well that I didn't include. People were just sort of a mixed bag. Some were friendly, some were not. I was surprised to see the actual volume of people there. There was just a huge crowd.
Probably next time I'm not going to make the extended cut interlaced with commentary as it is here. This is all pretty experimental. It's just, I'm trying out this site called Zarda, and we wanted to do a watching party, and we're just seeing what works best with viewers, I guess, that I have. You guys, I mean, it's not like we have a huge dedicated fan base here, and that's okay. I never wanted that, but it's kind of essential to the success of this channel to have some sense of community, especially when all my videos are so drastically different. So I'm trying to be more consistent with that, but bear with me here if this seems repetitive.
And I could see where Edie is coming from. I mean, not that I agree with her language or framing of it, but there's definitely a lot of people who are being helped by the church, and if
Is
she
what?
sees that as a growing problem, it could be viewed as enabling
Oh.
the problem. But I don't think it's that
This
simple.
morning it looked still kind of
But I
bloody,
think when
but
somebody's struck with
it's like the
tragedy, they
point
tend to
where
view
I'm not going to show you, but it looks. Every time I take off the bandage, it tears a tiny bit of skin, less than it was before, and it's still kind of red. But I think the skin is healing. It's probably like my hand. You guys see this? Also injured my palm on the same fall. But oh man, it was crazy. So there's this trail right by the river that pretty much is the reason I moved to Austin. Like, I really like this spot. People running, walking around all the time, right? Well, I take my bike there pretty often, and sometimes I'm not wearing a helmet. This time I wasn't wearing a helmet. Didn't really matter. I didn't injure my head at all or anything beyond the left side of my body. But as I was coming around a bend, it was particularly busy this day. So many people, so many bikers. Normally, I don't really have to stop or slow down at all. This day, and maybe this is just how Austin is becoming now, because it's not the widest trail, but it is pretty long. That day, it was just 4 or 5 times I had to slow down almost to a complete stop because there was just too many people. There's people in front of me, people coming to my left side, people behind me. So it was like, okay, I have to slow down. Not used to doing that. On one of these bends on the trail is a part where there's a lot of trees. You can't really see what's coming around the bend. And there was a lot of bikers out there. And one of them was going pretty fast on the inner side of the bend. And I was on the outer side, but I was kind of towards the middle maybe. I probably should have stuck more on the outer side, whatever. I might have done something wrong. But basically, it looked like I was about to collide with this guy who was going pretty fast. And I swerved to the right. I also pumped up my tire pressure to like it's the max that day or whatever, like 40 PSI. And so I'm not used to that either. And it was like half of that previously. So the bike was really responsive. I swerved for like a second. I was still fine. I was still swerving. But for whatever reason, maybe I was like subconsciously not trying to run into someone else or like run into a tree or whatever. I just like wanted to get off the bike right there. Or I don't even remember, honestly. Maybe I just fell off. But it kind of felt like a slow motion of like swerving. And then, boom, I fall like on like this. Like the bike goes to the right under me. And I'm going like this. So I was in pretty much the best position you want to be in. Because it would be horrible if I fell backwards or forwards or whatever. But I'm over the bike. And so I scraped my knee, the worst, and my palm, and my elbow. I don't know how I did all 3 of those, but it was basically like dug into the dirt for a second there. And I'm just like bleeding pretty badly on my bike ride back. There's like, again, like hundreds or thousands of people. The guy stopped. He did stop. He just asked if I was okay or whatever. He seemed a little bit like worried or whatever, but I was just like, oh man, don't worry about it. Like he seemed more worried than I was. But then I think that was just the adrenaline, because by the time I got back home, I realized, number 1, how much I was bleeding, and number 2, how badly the cuts were. They were really deep. Like I could see my skin sliced, and like, it was not good. And that was just a few days ago. That was like a few days before my birthday, so I've been wearing bandages ever since. But don't worry about that. That's nothing. 'Tis but a flesh wound.
More black and white because they know they didn't feel good being a victim of something, and so it becomes really us against them kind of mentality.
As the homeless crisis grows, it raises many questions about the future of society and what it's going to look like if these problems are not addressed.
That was a cool shot.
I decided to join him and his crew on a ride along to see what Texas Street Ministry is all about. Back at Nancy's house, the scene of property damage, theft, and destruction showed me firsthand the effects of a neighborhood being absorbed by poverty and desperation.
There you go. And they decide, okay, this is the office, we're going to start ransacking stuff. Some of the people that are...
I don't know why there's so many
in office
fade-ins.
that have just
That was a mistake.
Victimized, huge swaths of the population, and they treat them as if, they define them and say this is...
There was also a break-in in their garage, but I think we ran out of battery for that.
the best they can do, and so we have to lower the bar. It's like lowered expectations serves no one.
As cities across the country face mounting economic crises, job
Sunrise.
displacement, and social upheaval, public perception of homelessness remains largely black or white.
Oh, geez. Okay, wait. We have some technical issues going on here. I think it's not moving. The Zarda player cannot handle the depth of resolution that this video has. The file size is just too large, guys. We're going to have to pay 50 more cents to unlock the rest of the video. So if you guys could all pitch in, donate maybe 2 cents each, I think in a few hours we could probably get to the goal. We should put a 50-cent donation goal right in the middle of the screen, actually. Well, I mean, pretty much the best part's coming up. I don't really know what to do now. I think I have to refresh again. Hold up. Uh, 20. It's basically 20 minutes in. Assistance and housing programs. While these programs are great at creating systems and social security, what they lack is one-on-one rehabilitation and human connection that's crucial for many to get back on their feet. On the other end of the spectrum, many view the homeless as individuals that are solely responsible for the situation they find themselves in. But this perspective leaves every man for themselves in a world that's increasingly unforgiving. This was also the day of like one of the coldest days in the winter, right after that big freeze, and there was just a guy with a blanket trying to push a shopping cart across the street, and we were just filming, and so we went and did this.
You said that you guys are getting housing now? We came here to check
So that was the same day.
Virginia in her tent. She was saying that today is the day they're getting relocated to housing, some hotels somewhere, I guess. 31 degrees, so it's below freezing today. There's been ice everywhere. Not the kind of place you want to be camped out. If this kind of situation isn't taken care of, I imagine the whole city will eventually look like a sort of trash-ridden dystopia. This could be a preview of what's to come in one possible future, at least.
A lot of people don't even have phones, or if they do, it's sporadic because they're constantly.
So, like I said, this has all been cleared up since then, but I'd be curious to see if it reemerges and then gets cleared up again. So I'll be keeping an eye on it.
Losing them, or they're being stolen, or they're being broken.
Nancy here is talking about some of the further roadblocks that get in the way of these programs working for the homeless. And one of them is that they often don't have phones, or if they do, they're not reliable. They don't have internet. They don't know how to access a computer. They don't know how to use a database, an application. It becomes all these different steps. It becomes like a video game.
And so when you ask somebody to go online and fill out a bunch of paperwork, that's almost insurmountable for a lot of people. And the same thing when it comes to trying to get employment. It's like a game of, Donkey Kong, where you're jumping from level to level, and if you don't make the jump properly, you fall in a gap and you have to go back to the beginning. And that's the only analogy that I can make for this whole process. And if somebody isn't there to physically take somebody and lead them to the next step and introduce them to the person on the opposite side of the desk and sit them down, that's a big enough gap where somebody's going to fall through and have to go back to the beginning again.
Preacher reminded me that
I really like how that segment turned out.
homelessness comes with obstacles that most people don't see.
It feels like a Netflix documentary.
One of them is job discrimination.
Some of these parts feel like a YouTube video, but sometimes it feels professional. Like I'm trying to get better at the whole thing feeling professional or looking professional, but
a lot of people coming out of prison that are on the streets. We've got to change some legislation so that when people get out of prison, man, they're not, they're not discriminated against in the job market. Let it go. Forgive.
Employers have a stigma against.
See, like in hindsight, I also don't know why I put this whole segment talking about employment discrimination before the truck run, because I feel like the truck run was more action and interesting. That's more like falling action. Like, okay, like big picture. So I might have spent too much time on the big picture in this video. And in the video before, I didn't spend hardly any time on the big picture, on like explaining the situation, the crisis from everyone's perspective, so that people who don't live in Austin or don't live in Texas can gain something out of it or learn something from it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just going over the details. It probably neither of that matters too much, but I guess I'm a little bit trying to figure out like why the first video did so well and these ones didn't. But anyways,
It's hiring people who are residentially challenged, making it hard for the homeless to find steady work, even if they're looking for it. And for the homeless that make it out of prison and strive for a better life, society greets them with a system that doesn't forgive and doesn't forget.
Join hands. Our God, our Father, the God and Father of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we come before you.
I was uncertain about Preacher's method of
So we're about to go
ministry,
on the truck
but I
run.
did see a belief in forgiveness, and that gave me hope. Our first stop was a place in the woods I'm all too familiar with.
We just got here with the food truck and the volunteers, and now we're gathering people from the same area that Bruce is camped in to let them know that we got all these things for them.
Food truck. Got the food truck out here.
if I were to redo this video and the scenes, I would have spent more time filming on the day of the truck run. I would have got a shot of the car starting up, of the car leaving the place, get some action-packed music, get some interviews in the car. I would have focused more on that. But we just had, this was filmed over the course of like, all this footage was like, what, 2 months, 3 months? Since, yeah, like we had footage, we had so much footage that it was like, could have made multiple videos out of this, but I was just like, I want to move on from this topic for now. I'm just going to put it all into one video. We could have made the truck run its own separate video, and it might have done better. I don't know, but it's one of those things where like, you'll never know, and it's just live and you learn, but I might have done it differently now, but I don't know.
Food truck's out.
Once we spread word that the food truck was around, people from camps all over the woods showed up for a bag of food and supplies.
So these are people that were living in the same area that Bruce was camped out in, the subject of the first 2 videos of the Austin Chronicles.
The crew of Team 888 are all homeless. They are known around these parts and familiar with the regulars that come by.
Hey, lovely truck, how are you doing?
How's it going?
Oh, wow. Hey, hey. So,
Long time no see. Nash.
I'm Spruce.
I know.
I know you are. Love and respect.
You doing good?
Man, I needed to be quiet. But yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how to behave around people. I really don't, man. I didn't realize I was standing out, but yeah, it's been brought to my attention. I should shut the fuck up.
Oh, well, whoever said that should probably shut the fuck up too.
It was a friend. It was just the way it was said.
Bruce once told me he was a dear friend of his, and I wanted to talk with him more, but he seemed anxious, and there were other camps depending on us, so we had to move on.
Hey, Johnny, I'll be at your camp later. Couple hours.
So that guy Spruce in the red shirt, his name is Spruce, and he's friends with Bruce. And I actually met him once before, but it was like in a dark, it's by this place called the Monkey Tree where they have a drum circle every Sunday. It's probably happening right now, actually. And yeah, like he just kind of seemed a little bit less stable in some ways than Bruce, but he seemed like a pretty smart guy. Just unfortunate that he was out there, but I didn't really get to talk with him too much more in this truck run. That was just one of a couple people that we saw that were just roaming the streets on their own or holding signs or whatever, and we gave them stuff too.
Do you guys know what camp we're going to?
You wouldn't know if I told you. Just follow me.
Upon arriving at the second stop, Preacher immediately recognized one of the more chaotic individuals, and I could feel the tension in the air.
When they did the movie The It, you had to dress like a clown to go see it in Austin. I didn't have to dress up.
You didn't have to dress up.
Right.
So
We love
what do they call
Pappy.
you around here?
I'm Pappy the Clown. I'm Pappy the Clown, ATA. I'm the baddest clown in town. Clown Posse ain't got shit on me. Hey, ain't I the town clown?
In my interactions with filming the homeless, my camera is met with a range of people.
I wish I just shut up during this, or I wish I moved the narration because the timing of the music is so perfect with the video. Like you'll see it again here, but I just randomly picked this song as like some circus song, and it fits so well.
Some greet me with excitement, others shy away, and some become hostile. In rare cases, there are those that embody all three. Pappy the Clown is one of them.
Oh shit! Oh, and I play with the Texas caterpillars.
Pockets of nature are plentiful in Austin, and it's where many homeless find refuge from the city, including one of our own crew members, Nash.
How many people live out here?
Oh, it's just me and my boyfriend and our 3 dogs. I felt like if you wanted to live well, you should live hidden. Too many people in one area draws too much attention, and I think I'm closer to getting my ID and getting a job than I am to getting housing.
We dropped her off at her tent at the edge of the woods, where the sight of encroaching development reminded me of how quickly the city is changing.
Like I said, I'm not just holding it for you to look at. You went and got it. Hey, get back over here.
Outside of the camps, there were a few lone homeless that we stopped for along the way. One of them was a close friend of Preacher's who lived off the beaten path.
But the person you called has a voicemail box.
Abby! Abby! Come here. Why don't you answer your phone? Why don't you answer your phone?
This was a really dark place. Like there was not very much light, so I used a lot of color correction. That's why it looks kind of, the colors look sort of blown out.
I can't see. Oh. Ow.
I really need a night vision camera, or I guess I could have just used my phone, but there's also this weird tension of like, this person doesn't know that I'm filming. I didn't necessarily want to shine a light in their face or get up close to them. There's also that factor too when it comes to filming things like this.
And that was just one person. And we stopped and took her two bags of food down there. But if we don't come out here, she has, she don't get fed tonight.
As night fell, our supplies were dwindling, but we had just enough left for the largest camp yet. Our final stop was near a busy intersection where the homeless were spread from the streets to a
in the
patch of
chat?
forest
Oh, what's up,
tucked
Sagan?
away behind the back of a liquor store.
I gotta make a phone call.
So this is, you also can't see too much here because again it was dark, but and I there might be some lost footage of here or something I didn't use or something. I swear there was more that I got, but yeah. Maybe, yeah. I don't know, but I thought I filmed more too, though. I don't know, maybe not, but basically there was even like some sounds of like drums and music back there. There's all kinds of people, and then we're all behind a fence, which is in the, like I said, like in the park, like in the back of a Best Buy liquor store area, and it was just creepy. It was just scary to see. It was like yeah, during the day I've gone, I probably should have done that as a follow-up, but there's like all this like trash in the woods, shopping carts, tents. It's like it really is like a parallel dark side society. It's like without all the infrastructure and stuff we have.
Seeing those hands reach through the fence, it felt like staring into the apocalypse. Seeing the truck emptied out, it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
You know, I don't really have too much else to add to the truck run other than it went on from around 3 p.m. to around 9 p.m. So it was about 6 hours. We definitely visited a lot of people and helped a lot of camps. By the end of it, I was kind of feeling relieved, but also tired. And also I wanted to go back home. Anytime I'm out in what I would call the homeless world, you know, whether it's being with Preacher on the truck run or with Bruce in the tent, after you know, of several hours, I start to get a little homesick because it is like being in a different environment completely. You're surrounded by people who are used to being homeless, living in their cars. So I feel like an outsider in a way that I'm not used to, but it's also eye-opening. I think it's good for people to be in that environment. It's good for people to talk with the homeless and work with them to whatever extent they can. And I sort of advocate for that in this video. There's also a point where it can be uncomfortable and a bit foreign feeling. So that's just something that I felt while on the truck run as well. But overall, I also felt a lot of gratitude and appreciation for what Preacher and their team are doing.
There was a sense of relief in knowing that because of our efforts, hundreds of people were fed that night. That day opened my eyes to the impact that one person can have. It also showed me that there's a lot more work to be done. For Preacher, the path forward comes with not only changing the lives of people on the streets, but in changing the minds of people passing by.
When I first hit the streets, I looked at all the crackheads, meth heads, junkies, drunks, thieves, prostitutes.
Okay. That's not in the YouTube video, is it? No. This is a rendering error, but ignore that. But this is the scene of Don I was talking about where he's across the street. Anyways, there was a naked woman one of the nights. Obviously, I had to blur that. She was just literally just standing there. And I was like, well, I guess I'm filming that. They don't give a fuck.
This won't last long for me because I'm not like them. I get a job. I'm not lazy. I've got a trade. I've got skills. And then reality after 5 or 6 months set in that all of a sudden your friends have deserted you. As soon as you're homeless, man, they want nothing to do with you.
Fucked up.
While Preacher's methods are unconventional, the need for outreach to the unhoused has never been greater. Maybe it's time to change things up. The first step to solving any problem is to be aware of it. I've noticed a trend in the public response that can be seen anywhere from my comment section up to headline news stories. Many people are now aware of the problem, and they're all asking the same question. What is the solution?
I don't know what exactly we're doing, but I'm not going to give up and walk away from it. I want to be able to represent, small business owners and the senior population since I am now a member of it.
If you ask politicians, they'll tell you it's a matter of funding the right programs. Yet year after year, the homeless population grows in parallel with the programs and funding, with no end in sight. Donations towards charity, while well-intended, don't seem to have much of a lasting impact either. Many charities operate as faceless organizations, collecting donations and gathering money, which may or may not end up in the hands of those in need. Team 888 doesn't have the same resources or staff as a big organization.
So at this church that, was supplying all the food trucks, there was this Mario, that's where this footage comes from. And for some reason, Mario was just a constant theme throughout this whole video, from the Donkey Kong reference to the music to one of the, I forgot his name, but yeah, one of the truck volunteers. He had his Mario on his shirt to Mario right here. So Mario is with us always.
But what they do have is the ability to reach people directly.
He's rough around the edges, wounded and broken, but made beautiful by God.
Solution. I'm just a guy with a camera who's willing to film the people society wants us to ignore. I guess these videos are my contribution. So if you're still wondering what the solution is, take a look in the mirror, because it starts with you.
Get $914
I just said it.
to live on. I sleep comfortable in my
What, you don't think
car.
that's
I've got a YMCA membership, so I can go in anytime they're open. My total net earthly wealth cannot exceed $2,000. I can't have a car, jewelry, clothes, and cash in the bank.
This is extra extended cut footage.
$2,000. That's something.
Or else what?
They cut me off. I need that check.
If you get the approval for the nonprofit,
that's why it's roughly edited.
Build that up. Do you think you would be able to get out of that situation for yourself and also be able to expand that?
Well, our plan is possibly in 2 or 3 years, we'll be able to buy or lease a large warehouse and build units, individual units inside. I'm not a fan of dorms. It's not going to be a regular shelter. At our facility, I want to have 85 or 90 single units. They'd be private rooms with locks.
Would there be rules or like
Of course.
curfew and all
It's
that?
not going to be a free-for-all. I'm not so sure about curfew.
Drug use, how would you guys handle that? Or rehabilitation or any of that? Or
I will not tolerate drug use. See, that's the first thing they do when they come into our facility, go into a minimum of 30 days addiction recovery. But I don't have any problems in that. I don't care.
we don't have to film it, but could we go inside and help?
You won't be able to film it because I will hear about it. These guys, man, when I'm told not to do something, I will uphold it and enforce it.
All right, so this part's off camera.
In case of a city comes in and runs them out, then we help them find a new place to set up camp, and then we have to,
Danny,
we have to give them some place.
You could kind of hear some of my frustration because at that point it was like 30 minutes into the call talking with him, and I just wanted to get like a short sound bite of him telling people how they could help.
Safe to sleep at night.
I wanted to ask about the status of your nonprofit and what your goal is with that.
Oh yeah, we've got. Well, it takes 3 more.
I didn't even edit that properly. Like that should have included more, but the fact that it cut off there is actually kind of funny. Yeah, so that's the video, guys. And actually, I'm happy I did that. I'm really proud with how that video turned out overall. And thank you, Mustafa, man. I appreciate you. This guy's helped me with editing the last 2 of these videos, and they were both. I could not have done it without you, man. The amount of time those normally take is way longer, and I'm glad we got them done. That's under the belt, but moving on with the channel, there's going to be a lot of new experimental videos being posted, some of which we're already working on. We already filmed today. One of them is talking about AI art. One of them, I'm going to be asking people about the Matrix, whether it's real. What does the Matrix mean to them? I'm going to be asking students on college campus, that kind of thing. And I don't know. I don't know exactly how, what style I'm going to do the most consistently. I don't think I'm going to be doing the homeless topic too soon, although I'm sure I'll cover it again. But I think for now it's good. I want to do things that are interactive with people in real life. I want to use this microphone that I got. I really like using it. I love filming, but I think I'm even going to change that up a little bit. I have this old VHS camera that my family's had for a long time. And one of my friends, Sagan, who edits for Brandon Buckingham, or used to edit for him, he's got his own channel called Sagan McFly. He really introduced me to this cool way of filming that has an aesthetic I'm really into, where it's this old VHS footage. So I might be doing more of that. There's just so much. There's so much I want to film, and so much I already have filmed that I still haven't edited. There's this whole art video I made in Miami a year ago that I'm trying to figure out what to do with all that. But it's like there's always these stories. Like I think this is an interesting story, but figuring out how to package it, present it to YouTube, on YouTube, and to get views from both subscribers and new viewers is pretty difficult. So that's why I partnered with Zarda. I don't know, trying something new there too. I met the CEO in Austin, and they basically just told me that we could try working together. So this extended cut and this stream are sort of came out of that. But you know me, I try to hop on and do streams every once in a while on this channel. So yeah, I didn't hear anything from Discord. Maybe my Discord mic was... Oh, I just realized my Discord audio was probably tied to the wrong output. If anyone on Discord has been saying anything, haven't heard you this entire time. But they could speak, but maybe they're just not speaking. But that's fine too. Let me check my chat on the... oh, by the way, Discord. Check the Discord. Link in the description. And if you want to contribute or get involved with Preacher's whole thing, I have put his email that he provided me. That is now in the description and the top comment of the Street Ministry video. So you can get involved there if you are curious. All right. I think we are good on this stream. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching this extended cut and all that kind of thing. It's been fun. Thank you. See you guys next time in the next video.